What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about these Starfield review scores. I know I'm playing catch-up. Obviously, the scores went live a few hours ago. And look, we're going to go through some of them. We're going to go through kind of the overall positives and negatives that people are throwing out. But one thing that I want to kind of start with, it truly depends on who you're reading and who you're listening to. I think that, more than anything, is probably the main thing to be said. It's what I've always said. You know, we talked about this leading into Starfield. Make the decision on your own. I personally don't go based off review scores. I mean, the game is getting a very high review score, but my decision was already made. I'm going to make the decision based off of the gameplay and stuff that I see. I always try to, push that a little bit on the viewers, but ultimately, I respect you guys. I hope you respect me, and you guys can do literally whatever you want. If you want to listen to me, listen to me. If you don't, you don't. That's totally fine. So, again, it really does depend on who you look at, because although the game has a 87 on Metacritic on Xbox Series X, I think it's got an 88 on Metacritic based off of the PC scores, and there's only one review difference. I think PC got 50 reviews, and Series X got 51. 87, 88. I've watched part of Mr. Matty Plays' review. I know ACG did a review. There's a lot of content that's out there, and again, that's really the most important thing. If you want a different opinion on Starfield, go watch the 100 YouTubers that did a review on the game today. I'm sure there was 100. Go read articles from just all over the place. There were Xbox magazines. In fact, Xbox Addict gave it a 10 out of 10, right? But there's also sites that aren't just Xbox, Washington Post, etc. Dual Shockers, which I always thought kind of leaned a little bit more PlayStation. I'm actually kind of shocked they got a code in the first place. But overall, very high scores, tons of perfect scores. And then you get into the 9s, a lot of 8.5s, 8s, and then there are some 7s. The lowest score actually is a 58 or a 5.8 out of 10. There's a 6.5. There's 3 7s. GameSpot is one of the 7s. I'm sure that's going to go well for them. You got a bunch of 8s. Inverse, The Gamer. You have sites that didn't give scores yet, such as Polygon and The Verge, which kind of seem kind of like in the middle, so I could see those scores coming out to like a 7 or an 8. Overall, I honestly will say, I think if the rest of the scores kind of get added once they do give scores, I think it'll maybe drop just a little, but I think you're looking at like an 86 to an 88, which, by the way, didn't I call something like that? I'll have to go check my Twitter records, but I think I was pretty close to the Metacritic score that it actually ended up getting. But I will say, when you read some of these reviews, it does kind of depend, I guess, on who you're reading. Some of, obviously, the 10s out of 10s are, okay, the game is, excellent all the way around. When you get into the 8s and 8.5s, and those are really the ones, even the 7s, those are ones that I really wanted to look at. And even Mr. Matty Plays, who likes the game but doesn't say that he loves it as of right now, playing 70 plus hours of the game, that actually is kind of the theme. I'm actually glad I started watching his review or his impressions video and then started reading other people's reviews, because if I were to say a theme for Starfield is that there is a lot of really liking it, but maybe not a lot of loving it. Now, that's not to say there's zero loving it, because again, you look at all the 10 out of 10s, they love it, right? I'm not saying that they don't love it. Even probably some of the 9s, but I think a lot of those 8, 8.5s, some things click, some things don't click. It's a game people enjoy, but it's not a game necessarily that people outright love. Although I have seen people kind of throw out looking at other Bethesda games. Actually, a follower of this channel, Alex over on Twitter, had did a picture of, I think, Fallout New Vegas. That's actually my favorite Fallout game. Now, that was Obsidian, but still, and I think that has like an 84 or 85, so this actually has a higher score than what the, Metacritic average of my favorite Fallout game is. You do have people, I think, saying that it's not as good as the all-time greats of Bethesda, whether that's Skyrim to you, or Morrowind, or Fallout New Vegas, or maybe Fallout 3, right? This doesn't seem to hit all of that, but it seems to kind of get close. And then in terms of the specifics, well, the reason I really haven't mentioned that much in this video is, again, it kind of depends on who you're looking at. Some of the 10s call the main story the best that Bethesda has ever done. Some of the 8s say that the main story is the worst part of the game. So I could get into more specifics. I'll give probably a few more examples as this video goes, but the reason I've kind of stayed away from it is generally it's just one versus the other. I have seen, I think, generally the gunplay, like the actual combat, is definitely above average. It's better than they've ever done it really before. Overall, people like it. Ship battles, kind of hit or miss. Again, some people like it. Some people kind of find it unfulfilling, unrewarding, that it kind of is just the same thing each time. Travel and exploration in general. Some, I think, have leaned into the idea that what's here is good and modding will take care of the rest, while others kind of hold it against the game. Now, honestly, that's something I'm going to be really interested. I've said it 1,000 times in these videos of Starfield that I've done over the past couple months. I want to see how exploration works. I want to see how alive these planets, the ones that are alive, how they feel versus the ones that are not alive and they're more for like research scanning, right? I'm really interested in that, and I have seen I think that is probably the most mixed. But again, it depends, because I think some have, again, praised the main quest, some don't like the main quest. Side quests, I think generally the amount of stuff to do, basically, the amount of things you can kind of just go off and do, they seem to really be good just kind of throughout all of these review scores. So there are things I think generally people agree on, but I'll be honest, most don't agree on even the game's biggest strength. Some say it's the gunplay, some say it's the exploration and that endless amount of stuff to do, some say it's the main story. And I mean, that's what's going to happen when you have 200 unique people reviewing the game. Hopefully they're not all going to say the same thing, thank God, right? Because that would kind of be a little bit boring. But there you go. I'm very excited. Honestly, this didn't change my opinion at all. Partially because I don't care. I know I'm making this video and all, but I mean, the score doesn't really mean much to me. If this got an 86 versus an 88 versus an 84, that doesn't change literally anything. And that's, again, the theme I've been trying to say throughout the last couple weeks on this channel. So let me know what you guys think of the reviews, anything kind of fun or interesting you found. I've stayed away from the fanboy stuff, so I'm very happy about that. But I will be playing it starting tomorrow. So I'll have an impressions video out over the weekend. I'll eventually do a review, but it's probably going to be like I played 20 hours, I played 30 hours, like that kind of stuff, at least to start. And I'll do other videos on Starfield as well. So let me know what you think. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.